South Africans stood aghast today as Parliament was abruptly and unprecedentedly shut down by a raging verbal battle between Patriotic Alliance (PA) party leader Gayton McKenzie and President Cyril Ramaphosa. The hope for a normal post-budget policy debate turned into a combustible clash that exposed the raw political undercurrents fermenting beneath South Africa's increasingly tenuous coalition government. The incident did not only come as a shock to the country but also fueled heated debate regarding the breakdown of leadership etiquette, the vitriolic nature of political rhetoric, and the increasing perception of instability in the nation's top legislative body. The theatrics started when Gayton McKenzie stood up to say something during the second round of the budget policy debate. A blunt political leader and master of controversy, McKenzie lost no time in leveling a scathing attack on President Ramaphosa's government. In a condemnatory speech, McKenzie branded the president a coward, an enabler of corruption, and a leader who had shown himself to be incompetent in acting in the interests of citizens in South Africa. "You are a weak leader, Mr. President," McKenzie bellowed from the floor of the chamber. "You greet the wicked and turn your backs on the starving. This nation is not broke. It's broken by your silence." His incendiary comments immediately provoked reaction from the African National Congress benches. MPs started shouting across McKenzie's speech, loudly heckling him and trying to drown him out with his accusations. The mayhem only got worse despite repeated warnings from the Speaker of Parliament. The tension boiled when President Ramaphosa, visibly upset and unusually emotive, rose to directly address the PA leader. In a rare flash of frank confrontation, Ramaphosa vented, "And you, Mr. McKenzie, are not more than a political opportunist masquerading as a revolutionary," he snapped. "You talk of the poor while having dinner with billionaires. Your rhetoric is empty. Your fury is for the show." Gas spread throughout the House of Parliament, for what followed was no debate but a breakdown into chaos. Members of Parliament rose to their feet, calling out, jeering, and insulting one another across the benches. The Speaker fought to regain order as disorder took hold utterly. Security staff were put on high alert, standing ready as the yelling became finger-pointing and accusations of treason and hypocrisy went back and forth between opposing benches. The House was overtaken by din and rage, with MPs calling each other enemies of the people and ignoring the conventions of parliamentary behavior. The Speaker, who could not restore any sort of decency, took the unprecedented step of ending the session prematurely, an action that highlighted just how serious and unprecedented the crisis had escalated. This is a once-in-a-blue-moon event in South African parliamentary history, especially in the case of important national policy debates. While members left the chamber, tensions did not abate. There were also reported shouting matches that lingered in the corridors, and MPs needed to be manually separated to avoid fights getting out of control. The pandemonium was televised live on national television and quickly spread on social media. Video footage of the shouting debate and incendiary exchange between McKenzie and Ramaphosa went viral within minutes. Social media sites such as Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook were awash with comments, memes, and emotive opinion from citizens on all sides of the political divide. Hashtags including #Ramaphosa vs McKenzie, #Parliament Meltdown, and #Oko stranded minutes later, demonstrating the vast public interest and concern at the collapse of leadership etiquette. Public response was rapid and sharply polarized. Many of McKenzie's supporters praised him as the only political figure with the courage to confront the president head-on, casting him as a fearless truth-teller in a political arena dominated by empty rhetoric. "He said what we are all thinking," one supporter wrote. "Someone had to shake the establishment." Others, especially among Ramaphosa's constituency, saw McKenzie's actions as pompous grandstanding and said that he had insulted the integrity of Parliament and undermined the gravitas of the legislative process. This was not political courage, an ally of Ramaphosa countered. It was irresponsible seeking of attention. Political commentators and analysts joined in throughout the day. What we witnessed today was not only a collapse in parliamentary etiquette but a glimpse into the profound dysfunction of our political leadership, declared Zainal Latuli, a well-known political analyst. It was a raw moment of reality. The coalition system is on edge. The economy is bleeding. Citizens are frustrated, and that explosion in parliament is a reflection of pressure building in the wings. Latuli cautioned that if tensions such as these remain unresolved, they can become the new normal, further weakening South Africa's democratic institutions. The opposition parties in the country reacted in a mixture of concern and condemnation. The Democratic Alliance, DA, and the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, also released statements asking for a formal investigation into the behavior of both McKenzie and Ramaphosa. The EFF criticized Ramaphosa for not being able to maintain presidential dignity, while the DA claimed that McKenzie's polarizing language created an environment that made it impossible to have effective governance. Both sides asked the Speaker to invoke disciplinary action to re-establish a sense of order and accountability. Under the theater lies a far deeper crisis. The confrontation between McKenzie and Ramaphosa is not only an instance of political theater but a reflection of the wider sense of disillusionment that many South Africans have with their government. Coalition politics have become more unstable, and the view that politicians are more concerned about intra-party battles than providing concrete solutions to people's issues is on the rise. The breakdown of parliamentary civility in recent times can be considered an indicator of a system under intense pressure in neighborhoods throughout the nation, especially in townships and rural communities. The proceedings in Parliament were received with a combination of outrage, exhaustion, and anxiety. Citizens struggling with poverty, electricity outages, water restrictions, and mounting joblessness observed their democratically elected representatives arguing loudly over issues rather than debating tangible measures to mitigate their hardship. Some unleashed their anger on social media. "We require food and employment, not fireworks," one wrote. "They bicker while we languish." Civil society groups and constitutional watchdogs have also joined voices calling for accountability. Some have asked Parliament to reaffirm its leadership by example, principle of respectful debate, and transparency. Others caution that this kind of incident, if left unchecked, could further polarize the political spectrum and undermine public confidence in the democratic system. As the dust settles from today's tumultuous session, the question of the hour is this the start of a new era of political confrontation or an indication of leadership disintegration? Will Parliament rediscover its dignity and turn to governance, or will the show become the norm? With elections looming and faith in leadership at all-time lows, South Africa could be embarking on a stormy new era.